Give me the argument, the best argument you know, for the power of cinema.
Ready?
Yeah. Mom.
I need to have a better posture this time. Last time my back was killing me, so close that door. Welcome to Frasio Studios.
Slapstick comedy there for you.
Alright, let's do this. What's up, bro?
What's up, bro?
And welcome everybody to Películas with the Bros. My name is Adrian.
My name is Ivan.
We're back in full effect. Episode 2 from the house. Post-COVID. So it's actually episode something, but okay, long story short, we're back in the studio again, making the video. This time hopefully we'll have better audio than the last video, which was our first time back in the studio. But we're back. And thank you for listening. This, of course, is Películas with the Bros, a podcast where me, Adrian, and my brother, Ivan, talk about movies. And Ivan, we're doing a mini-series right now on the great director, the great comedic mind. Comedic mind. That's something to say right there. The comedic mind of Mel Brooks. The last podcast we did, we talked about the movie Young Frankenstein, and today we're gonna talk about the 1976 film
Silent movie.
Oh yeah! Solid movie. I don't know why I went Macho Man Randy Savage on that, but I did. How many voices do you have in you? Like, I have my country voice. I don't even have a Mexican voice because I never practiced that. It just happened. So I have my country voice. I don't have British. I'm trying to build that. I'm trying to build my Irish and Scottish accents. I'm working hard on those. I got Macho Man.
I think that's more of a personality trait that you have.
You don't go for voices?
No. Like when you think, are you just like doing something, like you mess up and you go into like Macho Man Randy Savage mode, like for a second? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying like if someone were to tell me how many voices can you impersonate, I'll be like, oh. I got Macho Man in my bag.
No, I don't got anything.
So I picked up this jasmine tea from the local Japanese market, and that's not racist, right?
No.
What would you describe the taste as?
Astringent. Modest astringency, actually.
That's such a weird thing that they would put here. I would describe it as like
Bitter.
bitterness, but like
Tart.
there's some kind of flower in there.
Jasmine. Is that a flower?
I mean, I guess it would be jasmine because it says jasmine on it. What would you say?
In some cultures, this would taste like dirty water. But in Japanese culture, it's delicious.
Damn, that is messed up.
No.
Isn't that crazy? Like kimchi?
Yeah.
It's pretty. Like I've tried it
It's gnarly.
like over 20 times,
Yeah.
and every time it's like, nah, son. You need to wash this down with some rice.
Yeah.
When will I get to the point where it's like, oh, this is delicious?
I don't think ever, unless like you force yourself. Because some people can eat pickles like, but
I can.
I can't. I have to eat it very slowly or in like a sandwich.
Interesting. But I don't prefer to eat pickles by itself like that.
But you can.
I can't.
I feel like
I need my sandwich. Like I won't ever eat it by itself, but when I do, I could. I mean, if I have to, I can.
Like an apple? Like.
Yeah.
I can.
But can you do like what's another weird one like that? Like mustard. Obviously not by itself, but do you like mustard?
Yeah.
Some people would say mustard's like a kimchi type of vibe.
But that's like on something.
That's
People
true.
eat like pickles. I think people eat it like kimchi by the fork.
Damn, that's crazy.
It's just what you grow up with. I'm sure there's Mexican foods we eat that people are like, what the? Like, I think mole is a little out there
It is. But it's not disgusting.
to us.
Oh. Dang, you just blew my
I
mind.
broke your racism.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, let's get into this movie, shall we? Because this is what the podcast is about, not about kimchi or morning. It's 1976, Ivan.
Hmm.
How long is that? More than 50 years ago?
24 plus 21?
Nice. I like that.
I don't know.
25. 45. 45.
25.
45 years ago, Evan. So let's go back to 1976 to see the top 10 films of that year.
Uh-huh.
At number 10, we have Midway. It's going back to that, hey, give me a name and I'll make it a movie.
Wow.
Number 9, In Search of Noah's Ark, the sequel to Noah's Ark, of course. Number 8, The Enforcer. Number 7, The Bad News Bears. A name that we know because they made a
Remake.
remake. Number 6, The Omen.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen The Omen?
I've been meaning to.
You think it's one of those things that like we've talked about in this podcast where we've heard it our whole lives, but we've never watched it? Should we watch it?
Yeah. I'm just scared it's not gonna age well.
Yeah, probably won't. Number 5, All the President's Men. I want to watch this actually.
Never heard of it.
Number 4, Silver Streak. Number 3, King Kong.
Wow. That's
It's
old.
like, not that one.
Yeah, the old one.
Not the claymation one.
The almost old one.
It's like the, I don't even know which
Middle
one.
child.
Why is King Kong such a resonant thing in?
He's like
It's the same thing like Frankenstein. What is it?
America's beloved monster or something. Because I think Frankenstein's European, no?
Yeah.
And then Godzilla's Japanese. King Kong, that's full-blooded American.
I'm sure that's like a phrase no one's ever said to describe King Kong.
Full-blooded American.
Full-blooded American. I want oh, there's a King Kong movie coming out.
I watched it.
Today. You watched it?
I watched it.
Okay, we'll talk about it. Number 2, A Star is Born.
Wait a second.
Yeah, buddy.
Now just wait
I'm
a
telling you, man.
darn tootin' second.
And that's like the 3rd remake at this time.
Nothing's original.
Nothing's original. Number 1, are you ready for this one? You can actually guess this one. It's a classic sports movie.
Rudy.
That's 1990s, Ivan. So no, it's not in 1976.
The Longest Yard.
You're close. We've talked about that like 5 movies ago, but keep going. Think.
Gridiron Gang.
I'll give you a clue.
Okay.
My name.
Rocky.
Yeah. Rocky. Rocky with $55 million made. So I think the story about Rocky is sort of crazy. Like, Sylvester Stallone wanted to be an actor. No one gave him a role. He's like, I'll write my own screenplay.
Mm-hmm.
He pitched a screenplay like, all right, we like it. We're gonna replace you as the actor though. Like, you're not Rocky.
Oh.
No, I need to make the movie. He makes it. He stars in it.
Yeah.
Biggest movie of the year. Now he's a billionaire.
That's like the full-blooded American movie.
You saw how like I was waiting for that? So number 1 movie of 1976, Rocky.
Uh-huh.
Contextualize that. Process that.
Old.
And embed it in your brain. And
Alright.
get ready for this.
Doesn't feel that old.
It doesn't, right?
It's timeless.
Right. The premise of the movie Silent Movie. Here we go. Mel Fun is a struggling director in the 1970s. He isn't able to easily get movies funded like he did earlier in his career when he was a successful director and had no drinking problem. Fortunately for him, big picture studios, get it,
needs a hit, or else they will be bought by a takeover company called Engulf and Devour. With the help of his two stooges, Don Bell and Marty Eggs, and some high-profile movie stars, Fun might be able to save the studio and his credibility with his next film, which will be a silent movie. With a cast of Mel Brooks as Mel Fun, Marty Feldman as Marty Eggs, Dom DeLuise. I love that last name.
DeLuise.
I also love, like, what's the thing when you have two names and they have
Alliteration.
Alliteration. Dom DeLuise. I'm going to name my kid Egofrasio.
Oh, that's to be an A. Or no,
No.
Elfras.
It's because Euphrasio is so weird that it's
Yeah.
like, what goes with Eleanor Euphrasio? Even Eleanor.
Eugene Euphrasio.
Ooh, poor kid. Dom DeLuise as Don Bell. Bernadette Peters as Vilma Kaplan. Sid Caesar, notable name, as the studio chief. Burt Reynolds as himself. James Caan as himself. Liza Minnelli as herself. Anne Bancroft as herself. Marcel Marceau as himself. And Paul Newman as himself. Those were the
Top actors.
top actors, people of that time. We'll talk about that. The movie, Ivan, first time watching this?
Yeah.
Me too. Have you ever heard of it?
Nope.
Going into it, though,
Okay.
you like how snappy I am?
Sadly.
I took a nap before this podcast, so maybe that helped.
Nappy left you snappy.
Oh, God. Guys, please make a T-shirt out of that. And
Nappy left you snappy. I think that's the best.
nappy left you snappy, or nappy makes you snappy?
Thing. Either or.
3 words is better than 4. See what we talk about in this podcast? Intellectual stuff. Ivan, have you ever heard of this movie?
I can't get over it. Have I ever what?
Heard of this film before?
No.
Yeah, never knew existed.
Hmm.
It's funny how things like that happen. How things have legacy and things don't. Things carry over and
pattern.
things don't.
We're learning, huh?
We're learning.
We're learning something about the human condition,
Yes.
about humanity.
Yeah. There's more that I want to talk about. The idea of legacy has been talked about in this podcast many times, and it's going to be brought up in a bit when we talk about these movie stars, but we'll hold on for that. Going into this movie, Ivan, what did you think you were getting into? We know Mel Brooks.
Uh-huh.
We've seen 5 films now. What are you getting into?
I wasn't sure. Like, I didn't look anything up, but then when I looked at I glanced at the Wikipedia page
Wikipedia.
before I watched, and then it said like silent movie is a silent movie with like the cards. I was like, what the? I don't know about this malarkey. And that's what I went into with.
You know, it's like those times you use the word too many times. Into with it. It.
I like to edit what I say as I say it.
It's one of the many things humans are able to do. I've
Self-edit.
always wondered, like, you know how when you're watching like ESPN
Mm-hmm.
and some commentator comes in with a hot take, he's like, so this is the thing about the Lakers. They don't have a good defense, but they have a good offense. And when LeBron James scores and they go on this tangent 5-minute rant or talk, how they're able to structure that on the go so easily. I think that's actually something we built now after doing the podcast.
I was going to say practice.
Practice, that's it.
Yeah. But, you know,
Skill.
sometimes they're a little dumb. Like, not ESPN people, maybe ESPN people, but in general, like, they go on tangents, but they don't really know exactly what they're saying.
Yes.
You know who does it? Is it DJ Academics? Is he even a DJ? Or is it just Academics?
It's definitely DJ. I don't know if he is a DJ, though, but yes.
He does that so much where, like, he just talks and doesn't have an end point. He just has the start and then goes from there. But it's not like a tangent like what we're doing. It's like he just... It's from, like, mind to mouth. like instantly. Like there's no process.
I've never seen like okay.
It just like think out, think out, think out. Not that like I think so long about what I say,
Right.
but there's like that split second of thought.
There's a filter.
Yeah, and he doesn't have that.
That's interesting. I've never seen him speak, so but yeah, I know of people like that.
It's more noticeable when you see them talk to someone who's like not like that.
And
Because I don't usually watch him, but there's like one where he's like had a beef
uh-huh.
with someone who's like a little smarter.
Yeah.
And smarter dude's like, "What are you even saying, dude?" I was like, "You're right. What is he saying?"
For me, going into it, I was suspecting it was gonna be a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause it's Mel Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't really. I knew it was a silent movie, but I didn't know it was gonna be entirely silent like it was. We'll talk about that in a bit. After watching it, Ivan,
Mm-hmm.
what did you think? Wait. Before you tell us, quick commercial break. Bling! Ivan, before we left, I was asking you what you think about the movie. Please tell me. What did you think about the movie?
I think it's funnier in as a. I think it's funnier as an idea than as a movie.
'Kay.
And as I was watching it, I was like, "This is a funny premise, but it's not really that funny."
Right.
Like it's just funny to say like, "Let's do a movie, like a silent film
Uh-huh.
about like doing this and getting funding from the directors and whatever."
Right.
And it sounds funny, like a idea you say with your friends,
Right.
and you're like, "Oh, that's genius," but then you do it, and it's not like
Funny.
as
It's not
good
as funny as you
as
know.
good as it should be, or could be. I guess I don't know.
Do you think time has affected this movie? For example, if you saw this movie the day it came out in theaters, would it make the movie funnier?
I don't think.
I do.
I feels like it was kind of aged when it came out, because I think silent films were like 40 years before this or
Correct.
something. So, I mean, it's hard to
But-
know unless you're there.
Right.
But I'm already kind of over it today
Yeah.
because I don't watch silent films. So maybe there's like a ton of more funny references that like I just don't get.
Uh-huh.
Like there's like little goofy parts, funny parts, but overall, it wasn't like gut busting or
Yeah.
hee haw hee haw.
After watching it too, I would agree with you that it wasn't the funniest. It was definitely the least, I would say least funniest Mel Brooks film so far.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you can tell they were really trying. They had a bunch of different like little gags throughout the whole time and the time of the movie. And there were instances where I thought it was funny but not funny enough to actually like
It didn't grab me.
yeah.
I was constantly like, oop, phone, oop, no, go back. Oop,
Yeah.
Go back.
And I do think that's partly of that is just how we're conditioned.
Yeah.
Part of it to me definitely I would say it's just like it's just sort of aged.
Yeah.
Like even if it is like you can make a silent movie today and have it be funnier
Mm-hmm.
because you can sort of like more current references or whatever that is or a little bit more risque or even just like I think like the references itself being updated to our current like the movie stars would be better.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that you're right that
Yes.
it wasn't as funny. It is a funny premise, but it didn't execute all the way. But I think if we watched it during that time, it would have been much funnier.
True.
Plus, watching it in theaters, comedies I think are one of those things, one of those genres that you should definitely watch in theaters.
Yeah, like I see people in like stand-up comedies. They're always like, the whole crowd's laughing, and I think it's funny, but I'm just like this
Yeah.
because I need the energy from everyone else,
Yes.
and I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
But I've seen funny movies at home where I've laughed, not like gut busting, but
Yeah.
laughed more than this.
Yes.
So it's not impossible,
It is not impossible.
but it just didn't happen this time.
So it didn't happen this time, but it's like accumulate everything. Accumulate that it's been 45 years.
Mm-hmm.
Accumulate that the references are older,
Mm-hmm.
that you're not in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Things aren't going to be as funny
Mm-hmm.
than if they were in theaters. If it was a current movie and it wasn't 45 years, the references were newer. We have some alumni in this movie. Of course, we have Mel Brooks playing Mel Fun, Dom DeLuise, Marty Feldman. I've come to adore these little guys, these little actors.
Yes.
This movie, honestly, like I didn't love,
Mm-hmm.
but I like the.
It was a cute little movie.
It was a cute little movie,
Yeah.
and like the idea for them trying to go for it, and it's something we don't usually watch. A movie with super low stakes. They're just running around Hollywood in their little car, talking to actors. Basically, Three Stooges in 1976, and it's
Cute.
It's cute. And then I love Mel Brooks just like saying,
Mm-hmm.
"I'm gonna make this movie."
Sounds funny.
Yeah. Silent movies. We talked about. You mentioned this earlier. The last silent movie before this was like 45 years ago or something like that. Have you ever watched a silent movie entirely?
I don't think so.
Have you watched The Artist?
No.
You know what movie that is?
Yeah.
Oscar-winning movie from 10 years ago-ish.
Yeah.
So this is the second silent movie I've ever watched. So the only silent movies I've ever watched and the only silent movie you've watched are this
Yeah.
movie, right? And I watched The Artist. This goes back to the point you brought up last time when we were talking about like the original Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
And but my question is, should we watch silent movies? Should we go back into the lexicon of films and bust open Buster Keaton or what's the guy's name? Charlie Chaplin's filmography and look at that 15-minute movie that they called movies back then?
I don't know. I'm sure there's ones worth watching, and I think the big ones are gonna look kind of super outdated for us because they've been like iterated over 1 billion times by modern movies. Like maybe the Lucy ones on the sides that aren't exactly huge legacy defining movies. Those are the ones that are pretty good.
Yeah.
Because like old Star Trek and then old what's that one, Twilight Zone?
Yep.
Those are old.
Yep.
They're not silent, but they're really old, but they're good.
Yeah.
And I think they could live in a modern era.
Yes.
So like those shows showed me that older things can be good.
Yes, they can.
Because I mean, it's dumb to say, but most people think anything before a certain point isn't that great.
Yeah. Like, I don't think any music before Lil Uzi Vert is notable.
Well, that's just logical.
Yeah. Maybe what we should do, like last time we said we should just write off the old Frankenstein and never watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should only watch classics. Like these are the top 5 films of this year.
I've been wanting to do like the top 10 movies of each year, but like each year of, either that or like Oscar winners of each year. Because I think watching 10 movies of like 2019, that's pretty defining of that year, and you would get a pretty
Yes.
clear picture of everything.
Yes.
And I think that pattern would go on from like the 1900s to whenever.
Mm-hmm.
So even if it's not the best movies, you're going to see 10 movies of 1920, and that would kind of show you what 1920s was.
Yes. Who the actors were,
Yeah.
what was on the minds of the culture.
Yeah.
You can get a lot from that.
Because like you see, what year was Joker in 2019, 2020?
19. Uh-huh.
Like someone watches that movie in 50 years, 100 years, they're going to get a pretty good reading of that year.
Well, I hope they watch that movie and like 5 other movies.
Well, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it was one of the top 10 movies.
Yeah. Okay.
So that would be one of them. So you would get that, and then I don't know, Lego movie or something,
right.
and or it'd probably be in a Marvel movie.
Well, if they look at 2020 in 30 years, they were like, "Where's all the movies?" And they're like, "Oh,
Oh, the little blip of no movies.
this makes sense why there wasn't any movies."
I think it'd be like Sonic, and that's it.
Oh God, that's crazy.
That's fine.
Let's talk about some of the famous stars in this movie because that's a big part of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about that right after this short break. Ivan, there's many notable big name actors and actresses in this movie that make cameo appearances.
Mm-hmm.
They're big names for that time, though. We might not know them. People from that time know them. Film buffs might know them, but let's talk about these guys really quick.
Let's.
So we have Anne Bancroft, who's actually Mel Brooks' wife in real life. She passed away some time ago, but she was a prominent actress at this point of her career.
Mm-hmm.
Well established. She's been in many movies. Did you know about her at all?
I still don't.
You still don't. Okay. I didn't know about her either. So let's continue on. And I'm asking these questions for a point. So Liza Minnelli, Ivan.
I knew her.
You knew her. Okay. So where did you know her from?
Arrested Development.
Ah, you're one of those guys.
Come on.
Yeah, I remember her appearances in that show. Great show. You know where I knew her from?
No.
I'm glad you asked.
Didn't.
I knew her growing up from the like the Hollywood News shows,
Yeah.
like do.
Yeah.
She would always be on that with the new husband.
That's funny. She's like that Kim Kardashian. That era's.
But she was at that time she was like 70. So she's like Liza Minnelli. She has a new husband after her previous.
Jeez.
Like it was always in the news for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's embedded in my brain, but just some context for you.
It's funny.
Looked her up.
Mm-hmm.
She is the daughter of Judy Garland, Wizard of Oz fame, and much other things, but I never knew that.
She doesn't look it.
She doesn't look it. She was a top actress in the 70s. She fell off a little bit after that. Not like acting wise, but just not in the top tier.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, right?
Yeah.
You knew of her only because of the show you watched.
Yeah.
You saw her in this, were you like, oh, that was her when she's young?
Yeah.
Was it weird?
You could see her face though, like
Yeah.
same face, just younger.
Yeah.
But it's always weird seeing old people young because they still look old back then.
Yes.
Because you see them as old now.
Yes.
So I wonder, like, am I gonna look old?
Am I ever gonna look old?
Yeah, it's gonna be weird.
So, okay. And then let's just talk about these two actresses really quick. So we don't know about them. They're big Hollywood superstars at this point. Isn't it crazy what time does?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
We don't know of them.
Legacy.
Yeah. Like the legacy lives on with a couple people,
Yeah.
some movie buffs there, some people whose favorite films are made by or they were in their favorite films. But you and me, some Mexicans in San Diego, California in 2021, we don't know about them.
Going back to Liza, I think it shows like you really don't know what your legacy will be, because for her, to me, her legacy is Arrested Development, and anything before that doesn't matter.
Yes.
And that's probably how it works with a ton of people.
Yes.
And that's probably where she has the most of her fame today, like
Yes.
especially with streaming and everything. But it shows that like you don't know when your time will be.
Or you don't even that. Plus, you don't even know. You think of yourself this way, but for most people, you're just the American Idol singing
Yeah.
judge.
And even that, like 20 years later, maybe he's like the star of the super comedy that's the funniest thing ever.
Right.
Or a movie, like lead role.
Right.
And
You're
he-
like the dad in the sitcom that
Yeah.
now this generation
And you
remember.
never would have predicted it. And now he's more famous than ever.
Yes.
There's no peak until you die.
And another thing that I was grappling with recently was like Johnny Depp was so big at one time, but now his image is sort of tarnished. But
He can come back.
he can come back. And hopefully he hasn't done anything bad that people are reporting about him. And if he hasn't, hopefully you can get over this and just like, and same goes for anyone that has gone through hard times. Like, you just need some 10 years and you can be back. Like, imagine Johnny Depp acting when he's 80. He's going to be so good.
Like, what's his face? Marlon Brando.
Yes.
I'm sure, like, his biggest fame now is because Godfather, and that's when he was his oldest.
Right.
But he was super huge when he was young and, like, handsome, right?
Right. Like in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That could be for Johnny Depp. Like, he could be...
Yeah.
He could have his
Right.
Godfather 5 role, and that's when he's, like... now he's a star.
Yes.
That's when he got big.
Well, not necessarily a star, but it's like
Yeah.
you've
but-
just reached pinnacle cultural impact.
Yeah. And you never know.
Damn. That's crazy, isn't it? Let's go down to the next actor, Burt Reynolds.
We're going to spend, like, an hour on each actor.
Burt Reynolds, Ivan, do you know him?
Yeah.
Have you ever watched a film of his?
I don't think so.
You've watched The Longest Yard, though.
Oh, yeah, I have.
So you've seen a film where he's been in.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think this man was like he's the sex symbol of the 70s. If you want a movie with $200 million in the box office, get this guy. And now, sadly to say, he's passed away. But
Oh, really?
yes, he passed away.
Oh.
But us growing up, we never watched one of his movies. Technically, the only movie we watched is a remake of a movie where he had a part-time role in. Back to your point, like you'll never know when your time's up. You'll never know when you stop mattering.
I think he's more famous for being himself
Yeah,
at this point than
yeah, I agree with that.
an actor.
Yeah. James Caan. Obviously, you know him from Godfather.
I do now.
Oh no, Elf.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You do now.
Yeah.
Another one. He was like, I don't know who's like his comparable for the year 2021 for him. Like a serious, like a good actor.
Christopher Waltz.
No, I'm saying like his age in this movie. Who is he today? Like, is he
I don't know. He was like 40 or something, right?
in this? He was like 30s, 40s, yeah.
I don't even know actor's age.
And then my favorite guy, who I just like, I've never watched any of his films, and I feel so bad. Paul Newman.
I know him from the T.
The T?
He has a T, doesn't he?
Oh,
that's-
no, you're thinking about Jack Nicholson. Oh, you're thinking about Paul
Ar-
Newman T?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh no, golf. Didn't he golf?
That's Jack Nicholson. You're thinking about Arnold Palmer.
Oh,
See?
they look the same.
This is so bad because Paul Newman, he was the guy in the 50s and 60s and 70s.
He was in Mad Men as like not as himself. Like someone played Paul Newman.
Like a celebrity charity
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So, huge actor, right? Up until the 80s, he was acting in big movies. I want to
Mhm.
see, actually, he's in, I think a movie by Scorsese. Probably up next. I don't know. He was a racer. He competed in racing competitions.
He's just one of those guys, huh?
He had an extensive car collection that was worth millions and millions of dollars. A philanthropist. I want to be like this guy. He seemed like the. I don't know how to. I don't know.
But
how
you wouldn't
this
want to
is.
do car racing, would you?
No.
You just want to be like that ambidextrous sort of doing one thing everywhere.
No. I want to be as wholesome as he is.
Oh,
He seemed like, even in the movie, he seemed like charming, handsome,
a good guy,
a good guy.
all around everyman, good guy.
And guess what? On the side, not only does he make millions for your bank, but he could do racing, and he's a incredible philanthropist.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't come out with some expose outing Paul Newman.
He's already. Is he alive?
Yeah. No, he passed away.
He's good.
So these are the actors that are the top actors of the time.
Mm-hmm.
We've never seen a Paul Newman movie.
Mm-mm.
James Caan, a couple. Burt Reynolds, we'll just say no. Liza Minnelli, no movies from her. Anne Bancroft, no.
Mm.
Time is a fickle monster.
Legacy.
Ivan, it's time to get into the categories
Okay.
right after the short break.
Okay.
Snap. Ivan. It's category time. Best 5 or 10 minutes of the film. This is the best scene category. The Burt Reynolds scene.
It was just nice seeing him. I don't know.
Nice seeing a magnetic presence on camera.
Good old chap.
His smile's like, hey, like
Yeah.
that. Like, I know I'm worth $100 million.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's an incredible part where he's showering, and then they start rubbing him down with soap bars. And he's like, oh, where are all these hands coming in? And it's good old Mel Brooks and his gang just rubbing down Burt Reynolds. Funny scene. Another good scene is James Caan, the trailer part.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it crazy how lousy James Caan's trailer is? Like, it's literally the oldest RV. Think about the preferential treatment stars get now. Like, The Rock has like 3 trailers that go with him wherever. One's like a gym, one's a house, and one's like a sauna or something.
Christ.
And James Caan has a Rick Dink trailer, the biggest star in the world.
I think it shows like his humility, but it sucks for Rock because he's like has to be.
Jacked.
That sucks.
He's so jacked.
And he like wakes up at like 3 a.m. like every day for like the rest of his life. Like at one point he's gonna have to stop, and then what? Like I don't know if he has the mental strength to be like, okay, I guess I'm gonna be normal.
No, he'll never stop.
So is he gonna die exploding?
Well, it's an interesting question because if you look at Vince McMahon,
Mm-hmm.
owner of WWE, he's incredibly buff as well, like steroid buff,
Mm-hmm.
and he never sleeps, supposedly. Like, he sleeps like 2 hours a day.
Jeez.
And when you look at him, you can tell, like, he's lived a hard life. And he doesn't sleep, but he doesn't stop either. And he's 80 years old now.
Any day. Then he's lucky.
But you got to think, how much is he on? Not only is he on steroids, but he's like on the the greatest prescription drug medicine to keep you up and functioning at 100,000%. That is what The Rock is probably on, some kind of that.
But I think even with all that, you need the mentality, the mental strength to know, like,
I'm built.
and then stay that way. And then if something comes at your way, like, I don't know, like a tragedy or something, you have to go through that.
Yes, that's true.
And if you're waking up at 4 a.m. and doing all this stuff, and the
Like,
wrench
you're
flies
saying,
through,
does he have a week of depression
yeah,
like normal human
you
beings?
can't be perfect, right?
Right. I'm sure behind the scenes there's things
Yeah,
that we don't know, but yes, you're right.
it just
It's almost like our ex-president Donald Trump. Like, he's almost 90 and he was functioning like a super athlete even though he doesn't look like a super athlete. Like, mentally he was 100% there
yeah.
and firing all cylinders. How long can you do that until you're like, I'm done?
I don't know. I think, in like people in those cases, they're either gonna they luck out and then live. Like these people are like super lucky that they're alive now, but
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I think they're gonna pop any moment. Like either a heart
Yeah.
attack or just like a brain hemorrhage or something.
Right. I
Just-
wonder what like The Rock would say is like my greatest like thing that the thing that plagues me the most in my life.
to him.
Yeah. You think it's like he ever has like anxiety, or is it more like I just don't
know.
spend enough time with my child?
I think at like that age, because he's like 50, right?
Yeah.
I think you get over like a lot of like useless things. Like you don't worry about like what that guy thinks of you at all anymore
yeah.
at that age.
Or at that age and that successful, maybe.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
but still, like I don't know how anyone could be perfectly fine mentally.
He also has like a switch, I would assume, or not a switch, but like, not the best term to use, but like a mental illness in terms of like being able to work that hard
Oh.
and be okay with it.
Yeah,
I think that's the same with like Vince McMahon, Donald Trump. Like they have something in their brain that's like, no, I can go 24/7 and be okay with it.
I think it's because they're all a little dumb, and then like they don't think about the bad things.
Ignorance.
Yes.
Uh huh.
So, like, if I was trying to live that life, I would be like, dang, I have to do this every day, this and that. And then eventually I was just like, nope, I'm done.
Yeah.
But him, he's like, eat food, do this, do that.
Right. That's Mark Wahlberg too, right? Have you seen like his thing?
No.
Where like he goes to sleep like at 7 p.m. and he wakes up like at 2 a.m. to optimize his life.
No, but
Isn't that
probably
crazy?
that.
Supposedly he does that. That he posted his schedule one time and he's like, "Yeah, I wake up at 2 so I can get my 2 workouts in before." And then it's cuz like I want to golf and I want to work out twice a day. So it's like he needs to wake up
Jeez.
at that time
Does
to make
anyone
it
need
work.
to do that?
I've tried that kind of lifestyle. Not 2 a.m. obviously, but
2
5
times?
p.m. Like waking up early, going to
Yeah.
sleep early, but my brain, it takes a lot of effort.
I don't know what. I don't think it's worth it. Like, you're at best just getting bigger, like buffer. But
Oh, not well, yeah.
I think one workout a day is plenty enough to live to like 100 or 90.
It is a mental illness at that point. Cuz it's like an obsession slash OCD.
Yeah. I feel like if I was his age and then I already had like my life set up, I wouldn't care too much about how I looked. Like I'd still take care of myself, but I
Uh-huh.
wouldn't, not 2 times a day.
Right.
Like you got to give up something at some point to be happier and do just fun things.
But what if it makes him happy, Ivan?
I don't know. I think you get happier from other things other than working out 2 times a day.
I agree. There's other things that could make you happy. I do get OCD when I don't work out though. Like if I don't work out 2 days in a row,
Uh-huh.
I'm a little antsy.
Yeah.
I feel like a fat glob of glue. Even though you can't really tell the difference.
Yeah.
The human mind, man. So weird.
Yeah.
uh, the last part, the best 5 or 10 minutes. The last scene I want to talk about is the last 15 minutes.
Okay.
Where it's just like everything's happening, and they're able to make the movie. They actually lose the film to the Engulf and Devour.
Yep.
They get it back. They get chased around. Um, they fight the Engulf and Devour with Coke bottles, and they triumph and do a little dance at the end.
Little dancey dance.
What did you think about that stump? Like,
I like
as
it.
like the camera zooming in, and just they're like, that's like part of the oldness of it, you know?
Yeah, like you'll see some dust. Like that's the dusty part of it.
Like you'll never see that today, because everyone will be like,
They
"Are
just
they?"
dance. I don't know, like some TikTok dance or something. That was their TikTok dance.
No, it wasn't. No,
Yeah,
no,
it
no.
was.
No,
Yeah, it
don't-
was.
Don't you?
That's
the-
their renegade. I would be like, "This is us," and then they're like,
Oh God, please don't insult Mel Brooks like that. The Great Ape Award. Ivan, does this go to anyone here?
"Probably not.
Mel Brooks, Don DeLuise, Marty Feldman,
Nah, this is a blip in history."
silent movies. No, okay, I agree. Engulf and Devour is a spoof on Gulf and Western, which was an actual company that swallowed 8 different companies at this time from 65 to 70, including
Jeez.
Paramount Pictures. They're sort of like the first signal of what was coming with
But they're
Disney.
They're gone though.
They're gone. They just became like they rebranded to just Paramount.
Oh,
But
better.
isn't it crazy that even like the Disney thing of merging with other companies was happening back then?
Mm-hmm. It's our future.
It's like you can never beat out like monopolies, you know? Like businesses will always business.
Not ethically.
This is technically the first silent film since 1936. That's a pretty big feat. Like Mel
Yeah.
Brooks, like I'm bringing it back, baby.
So like, I can imagine like the studio heads are like, "Come on, man."
I know they're like, we got actual. What do you think about that though? Like the actual what was it title cards where they show like the dialogue that's happening?
A little annoying because I like just listening. I want to hear what they say.
But you can. There's comedic value in that, you know.
I know.
Like in some of the parts where he's like, "You son of a bitch" or something like
Yeah.
that. It's like, "You're bad,"
yeah.
and that's supposed to be the funny part, right? Like
Yeah.
how they should have put "son of a bitch," but
But I also could have predicted that before I saw the movie.
yes, true. It's on the nose, but
Yeah.
isn't that crazy how people used to watch movies? Like they actually had to like
Watch it.
put put the dialogue after the scene. Takes you out of the film, sort of, right?
Yeah.
Technology, man. Ivan, let's rank this movie. Give it to me. Hot and heavy. Dang, I hear it. It's a tea kettle. It's a tea kettle.
I say 6.5.
6.5. That's fair. So you don't. This is the worst movie from Mel Brooks' catalog
That
so
I've
far.
ever seen in my life.
Okay, so you have silent film at 6.5. You have 12 Chairs at 7. You have Young Frankenstein at 7.8. The Producers at 7.8 and Blazing Saddles at 9. Do you
Yeah.
agree with? Do you stand by your numbers?
Stand by 100.
Stand by me. Okay, I give this movie a 7.
Okay.
I want to see if you want to throw up or something.
No.
So 12 Chairs, 6.8 for me. Silent Movie, 7. The Producers, 8.2. Young Frankenstein, 8.6. Blazing Saddles, 8.6. So far, what do you think? How you feeling?
I think
We're
he's-
more than halfway in. What do we feel?
I think he's getting too much room to work. I think he needs, or too late now, but he needs a little bit more of a whip because
Uh-huh.
this movie is definitely like all right, whatever he makes is gold. Let's just do whatever.
Yeah.
And with that, he's like, oh, this sounds funny. Let's do it.
Yeah.
But now it's going to bite him in the butt.
He had 2 straight films that he had the 2 top films basically of the year of
Yeah.
1974.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So
Yeah.
I
mean-
understand why the studio's like, all right, make your silent movie.
Yeah. It made money, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So they weren't wrong, but the quality is hit. Not horribly, but
Yeah.
hit nonetheless.
Great. Well, that wraps up our discussion about the film Silent Film. Mel Brooks, shout out. Oh, I forgot to contact his publicist. What am I doing, man?
Nothing, apparently.
We'll talk about his next film, which is, I think, History of the Earth.
Everything? Modern? I don't know. I don't know.
Something like that, right?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that next week. Ivan, thank you for this. But first, before we leave, let's do a little recap. Let's do a section we like to call
Things and such.
that fell flat, right?
A little bit.
Did you watch the second episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Nope, my Disney Plus ran out, and don't care enough.
I have an account ready for you on my account. I have the Little Mermaid as your icon. I just never, I forgot to give it to you. So
I don't know. I don't feel like watching it.
okay. Well, the second episode is much better. I said that last time because it came out the last time. Whatever. You should watch it. I don't want to talk about that though. What I want to talk about is currently Disney's at a point where they're releasing basically one new Marvel Star Wars show every 3 months, where there's a gap of 3 or 4 months in between those shows, right?
Taking over.
What's going to happen, Ivan, what's going to happen when Disney's like, we have 2 new shows every time? Like, we'll finish 2 shows,
Mm-hmm.
and then right after that, 2 new shows. So it's like basically comic books.
It won't stop, is what you're saying.
It won't stop. There's going to be a revolving Star Wars, Marvel, Pixar show all the time. There's going to be content all the time. What's going to happen to this world?
It's gonna be. I don't think it'll be good for the entertainment industry. I mean, I'll like it. I'll watch all of it, but I think, and I can't prove it, but I just think it's a monopoly at this point, and it's too much. And even if there's Netflix and Paramount and all this, they're just too big. But you can't really stop them. Like, they're just making things.
Yeah. So it's going to happen, you're saying.
Yeah.
What's going to happen to Netflix when Disney's at this point, though, where they have the biggest IP?
Mm-hmm.
They have more revolving shows than ever before. Maybe not as much as Netflix, but they actually have like the latest show that people actually want to watch. What is Netflix at that point? Just like trash? Like the trash pile where like all the discarded things that no one...
I don't think so.
What's going to happen, Ivan? Tell me.
I think, well, there's still HBO and all those other stuff. I don't think
'Cause-
it'll be that too big of an issue.
Because everyone's in the business of IP right now.
Yeah.
HBO's announced like 3 Game of Thrones shows.
Yeah.
Amazon has
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, and they're probably going to make more Lord of the Rings
Yeah.
once the first one's good. They're getting like, what's his name? Donald Glover sorry,
Yeah.
to do his little universe. Everyone wants to make a universe now.
Yeah. It's tough. I don't know. I feel like it's going to blow up at one point in some way. Because nobody can. I think the Infinity War saga was a good fluke. I don't know what the word is.
Like a planned fluke.
Yeah, like it was amazing that they pulled it off,
Yes.
and I don't think people should attempt that anymore.
Okay.
As big as them, like they could still do universes,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
It's I find it I feel like in the future these streaming services are just gonna like they're gonna dwindle. Obviously, I don't think you can have a Paramount Plus for too long, or maybe you can. I don't know, but I don't think Netflix can reign supreme for too much longer.
Yeah,
Because I honestly don't think they can get like the scavenged, like they're like the what are those birds that eat?
Vulture.
They're the vultures, you know. They get the last bits, whatever's hanging around. They just announced, this came out today, Knives Out, for an ungodly sum of money. 2 movies for $400 million they paid. They're basically saying, like, we know you can make a lot in the box office, but bring that here to Netflix.
I didn't like Knives Out.
You don't like it, or it's not that you didn't like? It wasn't amazing.
It wasn't amazing. I think it was a little corny.
Yeah, I want to rewatch it.
It was entertaining, but throughout I was like, ugh, I feel like a little corn taste in my mouth.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't feel that.
It just felt a little bit.
But the reason I bring that up is that it seems like they're dying for something. Like $400 million is so much money to give to 2 movies.
I think they're desperate because they know Disney's gonna sweep eventually, so they're really trying to churn out all the content possible. But they need like Marvel, you know.
Yes.
They need a DC.
That's what they need. Yep.
Like I think they're doing that with Avatar: The Last Airbender, but I don't know if that's strong enough.
Are they doing that? 'Cause I think that's Paramount.
Oh really? Oh then, poor Netflix.
But yeah, you're right. They need brands, right?
Yeah. And I think they could. They just have to find it or make it. Like there's books out there that they can adapt, comic books. Maybe an old movie that would make a good series. I don't know. It's out there. Pay me something, I'll make you something.
All right, just saw the Netflix.
I'll fart something out.
Yeah, they're definitely doing that. Like, there's a bunch of comic book movies comic books that are getting optioned to, or graphic novels that are getting optioned to make movies, but things don't always hit. It won't hit like a Marvel does.
Yeah.
Until it finally hits. Like, for example, they need something like what The Matrix was, where
Defining.
it's a new thing, a new film, a new IP made by aspiring directors. Comes out in theaters. They're like, all right, we see it's a success. Let's buy that franchise and now build that here.
They need to take a huge risk with something. Something where people were like, that's unadaptable or that would never work. Well, they're doing Sandman, but that's like more of a limited series.
Do they have the directors from or the showrunners from Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah.
So they're waiting on their thing, whatever that's going to be.
Could be that. Like, they're at worst good adapters. They're good adapters.
Oh, God.
But we'll see. But also, they had amazing source material to work with.
Right.
So maybe, like, Zack Snyder could have adapted Game of Thrones amazingly. It's just that good.
Well, from what I hear, it's not that easy. They did a good job, supposedly, from the insiders I have in the industry. But
yeah, they need to take a risk on something.
I'm honestly excited.
Video games. Adapt a video game.
That's always hard.
Because that's like untapped.
Prince of Persia.
Yeah. Or like God of War. Like, has all that mythology.
Yeah, they could be like the video game company or video
Mario
game adapters.
series. Imagine Nintendo.
Oh,
partnership.
buddy.
That's it.
They
That's
need
it.
Nintendo.
That's it.
They need to do Super Mario,
Zelda series,
Luigi,
Pokemon. Oh, wait, or that's already a series.
Pikmin.
Pikmin series, like an anime. That would be
A
good.
what?
Pikmin.
Oh.
You just said that.
I thought you said Ficken. I was like, what's
No.
Ficken?
Fire Emblem. Like Nintendo's gold.
Ripe for the picking. I'm more excited just to see that part, to be there in 5 years when Disney's like pumping out shows like comic books, and being able to see like an X-Men show.
But like highbrow, high quality, high
yeah.
everything.
Like Mad Men, like X-Men, but Mad Men.
All right, shut up.
Come on, bro.
I don't think they could replicate Mad Men. I've been like a little sick of TV because nothing's been as good as Mad Men.
I'm surprised that the guy that made Mad Men can't make another, like, 70% of 70%
Yeah.
of Mad Men was.
Yeah,
Like, where is he right now? Is he still doing that Amazon show?
I watched some of the first episode, but it's like an anthology thing.
Yeah.
I wasn't really into it when I was watching.
What's his name? Wiener?
Matthew Weiner.
Matthew Wiener. This is Adrian and Ivan Afrasio communicating to you.
What are you doing?
We need a show, damn it. You are our favorite. We don't even talk about you that much. We talk about your show all the time, but you need to make another show. That's it. That's it. That's it, damn it. Okay, sorry. Ivan, I want to talk to you about something.
Okay.
One time, probably 2 years ago, you told me something, and I'll never forget it.
Jeez.
I'll never forget it.
I
Ivan.
forgot it.
You did forget it. And I reminded you recently, and you're like, I didn't say that. And I said, you said that. And you're like, I made a mistake. But I'm going to bring it up.
I'm excited.
You once told me that Lil Nas X is the next Drake.
Oh, that was right.
Oh, no. He said his... Okay. Just for context, people, Lil Nas X releases a video
2
called...
years ago.
What is the new video called? Modesto?
Like Modesto, and then like Call Me by Your Name or something.
He has a new song out. Is the song catchy, would you say?
Yeah.
Song's catchy, right? Highly controversial video because...
For no reason.
For many reasons.
For no logical reason.
It's
emotional.
In a scene, he twerks, he grinds on the devil himself.
The real devil.
Mephisto.
Mephisto. Yeah.
He grinds on the devil, and that's controversial because it's a man, and it's the devil, I guess.
He's smart. He's very smart.
Ivan, first of all, address your comment. Is he the next Drake?
No, he's bigger.
Oh.
I think he's has that potential, but he could go anywhere.
He doesn't have a Drake potential.
He's very smart.
He's more like the Katy Perry.
But Katy Perry's gone.
Yeah, but he's
And-
next. He's this generation's Katy Perry.
But nah, I think he's smarter. I think because what makes Drake good is that he's smart and he knows how to adapt and change. And that's what Lil Nas X is. He's adaptable and he knows his place and what he can do and what to do. And he knows like what buttons to push and which ones not
But
to.
Drake doesn't. He was never a button pusher like that.
No, I think most of Drake's starting career was luck and like just being the new sound.
Yes.
But like eventually he turned into that
Adapting.
adaptable person.
But I feel like Lil Nas X is more like, yes, he can adapt and change his music styles, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But his aim to be sort of like the ultimate internet. How do you say this? Because Old Town Road was a success because he knew how to use the internet.
Yeah.
And now this song is a success because he knows how to work the internet, the news cycle.
Yeah.
So I feel like because of that, that's a different category than Drake. It's more like Katy Perry because she at a point was sort of like that where she made big songs, but her videos were risque and sort of controversial in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of why I go that route. What do you think about the controversy though?
I think it's dumb to get mad over something that doesn't hurt anyone.
The argument against that is that little kids are watching this.
But it's not for kids.
I like that.
If kids are watching it, you blame the parents.
Yep, that's true. You're like, next.
Lay it on me.
Yeah. Honestly, I predicted this many years ago.
What?
The sexualization of music. Where it was
Hasn't it
going.
been like that
Yes.
since like Elvis?
Yes. But I said when I was like in high school, I told my friend, when we have kids, there's going to basically be nudity on screen.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been happening since Elvis and even before that.
Mm-hmm.
But everything always has to go up and up and up. If it's up, then it's
I think that's bad if you think nudity is bad for kids. Not saying like flash kids,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like there's a difference between a naked body and like a gun, like shooting someone, and that's what a lot of rap is. And like, I know parents don't like their kids listening to that either, but I don't think showing like a naked body, and they're not naked.
Right.
It's just like, maybe it's because it's newish, and then it'll go down eventually. Like the controversy about that. But there's a lot more violence in like movies and TV and music that just is like thrown at everyone, like from kids whenever, that like parents don't even care about. Like, I mean, they don't let their kids watch like rated R movies or whatever.
Right.
But they watch like, I don't know, G.I. Joe that shoots people in the face or stuff like that. And I would say watching someone die is a lot worse than watching a little butt shake.
Right.
Right?
I saw something on the internet where it's like my son, I told my son he can't watch the Watt video or something.
Okay.
And then my son proceeded to
Watch it.
to play Grand Theft Auto and kill a hooker for not giving to steal the money back or something. You know?
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, that's hilarious." But it's true. Like, and that's sort of to your point where you can get there's violence, there's bad things everywhere.
Yeah.
But as a parent, you just need to be able to control it.
I think even if like you just raise your kids right and say like, that's just a naked body, there's nothing wrong about it. You trash.
Wait.
I was telling the camera, trash. How much was lost?
Doesn't matter. Keep going.
Like you just tell your kids like it's a naked body, there's nothing bad about it, just know when to be. It's like cursing in front of the wrong people.
Right.
Like know when to be naked, know when to curse.
And like in case they do watch it, like, all right, I'm not gonna let you watch that again because of this.
Yeah.
And what you just saw was disgusting. No.
Yeah.
But just like you said, like that was naked, but you shouldn't watch that.
Yeah.
Or like that's too old for you.
Yeah.
You can listen to his music, but maybe not this. And even the music, like even
The
listening to
lyrics.
it has lyrics that are bad.
Yeah.
And parents let
Well, like
them do
I never
that.
cared about lyrics as a kid, and there are some gnarly stuff I listened to.
Yeah.
Like that, it doesn't hit you till you're maybe like subconsciously it hits you, but
Yeah.
that's a whole nother thing.
Right. I saw this hilarious video where this mom was like watching the Watt video, and
Mhm.
then she stopped it and she started crying like, "Is this what our kids are gonna?" And I was like, "Oh man, poor lady. It's so funny that she's doing this."
Like I'd rather, like I don't really care, but I'd rather our society have the like issue with like a ton of nudity in everything versus other way around. I'd rather the issue be with like the violence and everything versus the nudity and everything. because there's like good reasons for nudity in different contexts, but I don't think there's ever a good reason
For death.
death or violence in any context, unless
Right.
like protection. But
Yeah,
another parenting thing.
I agree with that. And I think as like technology shifts too, um parents, people will have better tools to restrict their kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's already stuff like the YouTube Kids app where like yes, it's a hard job to be a parent, but there's tools that are coming out that will help you.
Just
Like-
raise a smart kid.
Yeah.
Do your job.
Yeah. Don't give them the iPhone.
Yeah.
Give them your time.
Give him a book.
Don't give them Old Town Road. Give them the Bible.
Don't give them an iPad. Give them a pencil and a pad.
Oh no, Ivan, you're on fire today. Give him. Oh Jesus Christ, Ivan, that was amazing. That's a great way to end this podcast. We'll be back next week with another Mel Brooks film. We'll be back next week with more hot takes. Please, if you're listening, thank you for listening. We appreciate you. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button down there. Leave us a comment. We'll talk back. Talk to me nicely. You know what I mean? Young Thug, shout out. Travis Scott. What's the song? Franchise?
I don't know. Oh yeah.
I'm rambling here, but you can listen to us on all podcast platforms: SoundCloud, Spotify, iStitcher, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, stuff like that. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. We'll be back next week. Thank you. Peace out.
Bye.